a lot of fourth graders from all over the state come to Raleigh one day in the spring or the fall because you all are learning about North Carolina government, aren't you?
Yes.
And have you already learned that? Have you already finished that?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to ask you some questions. And I love doing this. Lots of times in the Capitol, there's a round part of the Capitol that's called the Rotunda. And the fourth graders across North Carolina sit in front of a beautiful statue of George Washington. And I get to talk to the kids there 2 or 3 times a week. So I'm going to ask you some questions. Now, what am I? What am I called? Or what? Yeah, the governor. The governor. What does that mean? Who can tell me what a governor does? Excuse me. Like the president of the state, yeah. But what does the president of the state do? Do I just sit all day and say, I'm the governor, I'm the president of the state? Or do I have to do stuff? I have to provide money for the schools, and I have to make sure that everything goes okay in the good times and the bad times. That's what the governor does. What branch of government? You learn that, the 3 branches, as part of your 4th grade lessons. I'm not the legislative, but there is a legislative branch, so that's a good answer. Executive. I am an executive. Now, do you believe that? Seriously. What do you think that means if you execute something? It comes from the word execution. What do you think that means? Yeah. I make it happen. I make it get done. Okay, so I'm the executive. That's one branch. Come on, 4th graders at Franklin Porter Graham, the home of the Lions. You all know, what's the 2nd branch?
Judicial.
The judicial. Wow, that's a good, what does that mean? Who can tell me? Back there.
I think it's kind of like the Supreme Court.
It's like the Supreme Court, and it's like who serves on the Supreme Court? What are those people called in those black robes?
The Congress.
They should be in black robes sometime, but that's not what they are. That was a joke. Huh? No, we're going to get to the Senate in a minute. You all know them. You just have forgotten where the judges sit. I'm in the executive. What's this other branch that's made up of judges and judicial? What do they do? The Supreme Court's part of it. What do you think the judges do? Picture. They judge people who break the law. Like, what if? What if I was riding down the road right now in my car? And what if I was going like 100 miles an hour? That would be very dangerous, right? And so you know what happens. What happens if I'm going 100 miles an hour? Blue shirt.
A cop pulls you over and gives you the speed.
A policeman or a highway patrolman pulls me over and gives me a speeding ticket. Good girl. And that's the right thing to do, right? I deserve a speeding ticket. So what do I do next? Where do I have to go? To court. And who's that man or woman up there behind that big old desk that tells me what I have to do? The judge. And what does the judge get to decide? Yeah, back there. If I have to pay the fine, and if I get sassy with the judge, where else can he put me? In jail. That's what the judge does. So you've got executive. I execute the laws and make sure the state's pretty cool and that things get done. And the judicial, they're the people who put us away in the pokey if we do bad stuff and we belong there. Well, who is that other 3rd group? Now, you've learned this, and you'll have to know this the rest of your life. The legislature. You are so smart. Honestly, I'm just overwhelmed at how smart you are. What does the legislature do? Yeah.
They make the laws.
They make the laws. And somebody's already said one of the branches of the legislature is called the Senate. And what's the other one called? You know? The Senate and the House of, you all are so smart. The Senate and the House of Representatives. Okay, now this is where I really stretch your knowing, your learning, your ability to understand. Pretend like, just pretend like you're a senator. And this morning you get up and you go to Raleigh to make a law. or you go to Washington to make a law. Give me an example of a good law. What would be a good law that you could pass?
Not to text.
Perfect example. She could go to Raleigh this morning and say, North Carolina is going to have a new law, and that law is that we're not going to text while you're driving. That's a good law. Can somebody think of a law that might be another good law? Don't look down and don't work while you're driving.
Don't like steal.
That's a really good law.
It's more like adults because I watch True TV. It's like marijuana.
That's right. Don't smoke marijuana, because what happens to you?
Like get to jail.
And besides kind of going crazy in your mind, you end up in jail. So it's bad for your health and it's against the law. All right, so think, is there anything that's a law that you think is not a really good law? I'm always curious about what you think might not be a good law. Well, I'm so glad, because yesterday I had a group of fourth graders tell me they thought it was terrible to have a law that would make children go to school. So I'm glad that you're not like those fourth graders. I think they were from Greensboro. Y'all are just much more sophisticated.
I actually like school.
Oh, good for you. You know what? I like school too. Does anybody have a question they'd like to ask me? You've done so well. You know your North Carolina history. Y'all have just blown it out the top on the end of grade test, I'm sure already, because you're as bright as anybody I've talked to. Yes, ma'am. Governor? When I was younger, did I want to be governor? You know what? I never once thought that I'd be governor of anything. I never once thought about this. But you know what it proves? It proves that if you study hard and you get a good education, and I did that, that you can do anything, even stuff that you don't even dream about doing. And someday you might be sitting here, or you might be the first woman president, and that would be pretty cool too. You can do whatever you want to do. Yes, ma'am.
Well, there's two things. Have you ever thought about it? And have you met?
I have met the president several times. He's a very, very good man, and very, very tall. I always feel like I'm a midget when I stand beside him. He's very tall, but he's very bright, so yes, we do work together on some things. And have I ever thought about being president? No. You know why? Years ago, I think as you grow up and have teachers here might not think about being principal. I think we all have big dreams, and I love North Carolina, so I never wanted to leave North Carolina. I don't want to go to Washington. I've never wanted to go to Washington. But I'm really proud to be governor. Thank you for allowing me to do that. Yes.
Did you make any laws to help kids?
I've made a lot of laws to help kids. You know why? Because for a long time I was in the North Carolina Senate where I made laws. And just now as we speak, I have sent over a proposed law for the General Assembly that would give a salary increase to your teachers, because I think they need to be paid better. I do think. And we have other laws that make sure that you all have the skill set you need to graduate high school, ready to go on to a career or on to more